I rise today to speak about immigration in America. My father was born in Italy and came to the United States as a young boy. I'm a first-generation American, and I don't like the hateful and divisive rhetoric being used about immigrants today. I'm appalled at the way my country is treating children and the families of immigrants. My dad came to America in the early 1920s. He was the first in his neighborhood to graduate from college. During World War II, he served as a navigator on a B-24 and was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross with 3 oak leaf clusters. He returned home and graduated from Harvard Law School on the GI Bill. As a young Harvard-educated lawyer and an Italian immigrant, however, my dad couldn't find a job. Italians were not respected, and after Hitler had teamed up with Mussolini during the war, Italian Americans weren't trusted either. My dad decided to return to Glen Cove, where he teamed up with another Italian lawyer, ran for city court judge, and became the youngest judge in the history of New York State. My father achieved many other great successes, and he would always say, "What a country." His life was the very essence of the American dream. Our American dream, however, is at risk. It may soon be the American nightmare. Well, I still believe in my father's American dream, and I'm committed to keeping it alive. Immigration has been an issue for decades, yet after all these years, Congress has yet to pass immigration reform. President Trump's cruel, divisive, and simply unworkable positions have made things worse. His policies and rhetoric have exacerbated the problem, permeating a culture of fear that forces many immigrants further into the shadows. I've been an advocate for fair and reasonable immigration policies for more than 25 years. As mayor of my hometown, Glen Cove, New York, in 1994, I created the very first Shape-Up Center on the East Coast of the United States of America. It gave newcomers from Central and South America a safe place to get hired and made sure they got paid for the work they did. And if they didn't get hired, they could stay and learn English or a new job skill. As county executive in 2007, I refused to let ICE work with my Nassau County Police Department because they were acting like cowboys, drawing guns and knocking down doors, intimidating children and families who were not even subject to their raids, all of whom together presented no risk of violence whatsoever. Today, those same guys that gathered on the street corners of Glen Cove now own their own businesses. They own their own homes, and their kids attended school with my kids. But now President Trump's heartless immigration actions are separating parents from their children, and children are being housed in cages. I've seen it with my own eyes. This past July, I traveled to McAllen and Brownsville, Texas, to personally inspect the detention and relief centers, visit ports of entry, and speak with migrant families and meet with humanitarian aid organizations. My visit to the detention centers along our southern border was heartbreaking. I saw men, women, and children being held in awful conditions. Our system is broken. These centers are overcrowded and unsanitary and clearly ill-equipped to care for the people in great numbers. Meanwhile, the administration continues to promulgate more callous and mean-spirited decisions aimed at further attacking immigrants, deporting children with cancer, and diverting funds from military programs to build the wall, including money that was meant to go towards building schools for military families. And keeping immigrant children locked in indefinite detention are unconscionable. These decisions endorsed by this administration are not consistent with American values. America is founded on the fundamental principle that, quote, all men and women are created equal. It's not that everyone with a green card or U.S. citizenship is created equal. It's that every man and woman is created equal and should be treated with human respect and dignity. We must continue holding congressional hearings on forced family separation, the detention of children for prolonged periods of time, the decision to end TPS at DACA, the Dreamer Plan, and the overwhelming backlog in U.S. immigration courts. We must also defund hate, as my friends at Bend the Arc are advocating, and set a floor for refugee admissions at 95,000, as my friends at the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society are advocating. In addition to defunding the hateful policies of this administration, we must also strive for comprehensive immigration reform and treat people like human beings. Live up to the American dream, give a path to citizenship for TPS recipients and dreamers, and give legal protection to millions of others that secures our borders. Robert F. Kennedy once said, and I quote, "When we tolerate what we know to be wrong, when we close our eyes and ears to the corrupt because we're too busy or too frightened. When we fail to speak up or speak out, we strike a blow against freedom, decency, and justice. We need to restore truth and compassion to the debate over immigration in America, and we need to do it now because the promise of the American dream demands it. Thank you, and I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the President. Pursuant to